Welcome, everybody, to the That Kind of Nerd podcast. I am CJ Mellon.
I am Brian Thornton.
And I am Josh Burns.
Welcome to our show. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode, I do want to take just another 2 minutes and just ask for our listeners to do a very, very short survey that we have hidden in the show notes. If you're not familiar with podcasting or haven't listened to a couple episodes ago, if you're listening to this on the iTunes podcast application, just tap our album artwork. You'll see a link there that says, please take a short survey. It is 100% anonymous. We're not asking for any information from you, an email address or anything like that. We don't know who is taking the survey. It is 10 questions. It will take you 2.5 minutes. I swear. It's very easy. We're just curious as to how you're liking the topics that we're talking about, how the audio quality is, if there's a certain day that you listen to the podcast. We just want to continue to make this a show that's made for you, and we want to make sure that everyone here is having a great experience listening to the show. So please go to the show notes or go to thatkindofnerd.com and find the survey link. Take 2 minutes, and we greatly appreciate it ahead of time. So thank you to anyone who's taken the survey. We definitely appreciate your feedback.
We don't know who you are, or what day you take it, or necessarily whether you're clothed while taking it. I promise you, we don't know that stuff.
I will actually
even a little bit.
I will refuse to open presents in like anything but like jeans and a t-shirt. Like, I can't be in my underwear. I can't be in sweatpants because someone put a lot of thought into a gift for you, and they're going to be thinking about you opening the gift. And if I'm in my underwear or something, I just feel like that energy is coming into that, and I don't want anyone to have to witness that. I feel bad enough for my wife.
You have, like, underwear energy? You have a different energy when you're in underwear?
Yeah, but, like, that person thought of me, and when I'm opening up, they're like, oh, yes, like, hey, I got your gift today, thank you very much. And like, oh, how did you like it? I'm like, great, but, like, I was in my underwear while I was thinking about it. That's just weird. I don't want to cross those streams. It's just not allowed.
From now on, I'm opening all gifts you give me in the tub.
That's fine. Listen, what you do is yours, because up in my mind, no, you are, like, in a suit. You're suited up with a ducky tie, and you're like, oh, what a thoughtful gift.
Ducky tie.
Absolutely. Well, what I want to talk about is we all saw Pixar's new movie Inside Out.
Yeah.
And wow. I mean, just wow. So we were joking earlier, we were talking about, that Louis Black playing Anger is like perfectly cast, and I still lost my stuff every single time they do that broccoli on the pizza bit. And thank you, San Francisco. You ruined pizza. I just see the finger just happening. I just see it all in all its glory. What did you guys think of Inside Out?
It was, the anger part, especially because it was the anger inside of a little girl's brain, and it just reminded me of Zoe when she was a toddler because. He's got the newspaper. It says, "Parents say we can't have dessert," and he's just losing his mind. And I've had that exact conversation with my daughter, so I know that there's something that goes on in the brain of a toddler that they snap. So I thought the movie was good. I wasn't crazy about some of the stereotypes, but we can get into that.
Brian, what did you think about the movie? Just at first glance.
Generally, I thought it was fantastic. I think Pixar knocked it out of the park once again, and I mean, I don't think it's my favorite Pixar movie, but I was kind of surprised at how much I enjoyed it because I wasn't really sure, as with a lot of Pixar's concepts, how this would work in a 2-hour movie, and it actually worked out really well, and it was actually very enjoyable, very funny. And like every other Pixar movie, you had that moment where you wanted to cry, and so I enjoyed it.
I'm very glad that my daughter's young enough that I haven't experienced some of these moments that they're reflecting on. Otherwise, it would just be blubbering like a baby. So I'm very glad. There's a couple moments. So Pixar,
I know, I know exactly what you mean. I get it, but it's there. I didn't have that crazy type of emotional connection with this movie.
Yeah, I wasn't as emotional as I thought I would be. I still felt things.
Sure.
I was like, oh, Pixar making an emotion movie. Who screwed me?
Well,
I think,
up. Brian, you have different opinion, obviously.
Well, yeah. I mean, I
have no emotions.
I don't have any emotions. It's all just gray. But unless unless Batman or Spider-Man comes into topic, then I get a little joyous. But most of the part is all like one murky gray color. Anyway, I mean, I didn't like I got the feels. I didn't like cry. It wasn't like Toy Story 3 where I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna cry. But I definitely got the feels. You know what else gave me the feels? That freaking lava short before it actually gave me the feels.
Oh yes. Like, so this short was so
Like the movie hasn't even started yet. I'm already tearing up.
The lava short was good. The lava short I thought was just as good as the paper short.
Yeah, I love that short.
Yes.
Right? But I mean the shorts that these people are doing are fantastic. They're really cool.
It's no surprise that Pixar is being typical Pixar in all of this, and everything about this was phenomenal. This does not go into the scope of bad Pixar movie. I thought this was a good movie.
No. I'm not sure there has been like a bad Pixar movie. But my real problem with it is some of the themes that are set up, like everyone is sort of governed by joy until life beats that out of you, right? And then here's the thing. You've got the little girl who's governed by joy, and the mother who's basically governed by sadness.
Yep.
And the father who's governed by anger and who's kind of an idiot. So again, male figure, idiot.
Right.
Female figure, smart, but sad. Why?
Well, if you looked at sadness in that movie, it's more than that was it. It's the complexity part for it, and most women are way more emotionally complex than men.
I get it, but the default position being sad, right? Or the need, or not, and not just that. I think the flip side of that is sadness. But spoilers. Sorry. Sadness by the end of the movie, you discover basically needs other things to be okay. And I'm not crazy about the thought that my daughter's going to need other influencing factors to be okay.
Well, no, I took it as sadness's role is there to sometimes you do need a good cry, and you can't take the sweet without having the bitter. I thought it was more of a dichotomy instead of a symbiotic thing.
I didn't feel that way at all. Like I felt like it requires reliance upon others.
Well, if you really think about that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Well, I took it more as kind of along CJ's lines that it's like she's not. I didn't took it as she's like governed by joy. I just took it as like joy is so joyful she just feels the need to control everything, and like
that doesn't mean she's governed by joy.
No,
joy
I would
allow the other emotions to make a decision.
I would say that joy did govern her, but I disagree with Josh's part that that joy gets beaten out of you, and then another emotion.
But I
takes
think
over.
by the end of that movie, like the whole point is that Joy realizes that she needs these other emotions to be able to like have full I guess like, full experiences and balance out, like not just sadness. At the end of that movie you have like disgust mixed in with joy and stuff like that. All those little marbles are all different colors,
so
and it's a symbiotic relationship between all of them, not just sadness needs one to survive. Sadness was doing what she was supposed to do, and then joy is actually the one who got screwed everything up by trying to control everything.
So in college, I took a class called Alba Emoting, which is a really cool acting. I'll bore you a little bit with it. A cool acting technique that concentrates on breathing to actually invoke a set of emotions. So what you kind of get once you've properly executed is pure happiness, pure joy, pure sadness, pure fear, pure anger. And what you find is that when you look at your actual life and you look at what you actually do when you go through emotions, everything is jumbled. But as a kid, when you look at a kid and you look at them go through an emotional state, it's mainly a pure one. Especially look at babies and you look at kids that are under the age of 12 and 13. It's pretty straightforward. So the crux of this movie, one part of it was that there's these core memories that make up her personality. And they all happen to be of joyful experiences, which they should be as a kid. And, spoiler alert again, one of the core memories that was probably the happiest one, when you rewound it, you saw that it came from a place of sadness, that she lost a game, that she was upset, and then it turned into a joyful moment. So I don't necessarily. I think we're somewhere in the middle of both of your thoughts here. Is that joy does have to govern things for this character, but I don't think sadness is just there to help the other emotions.
And most things in life do fall somewhere in the middle of a spectrum, and Brian and I are on pretty two extreme sides of that spectrum, right?
Right.
So there's that probably makes sense. I'm always I'm always sensitive to the people being put into a corner, right? Like, this is all this person is, right? And my real problem is the mother's emotions are all sort of the same and all sort of, look like sadness, and the father's all look like anger. So
yeah, I definitely see that point. I
have a problem with. I have a problem with that.
Now,
so
I agree that, and we've talked about this offline before. But Josh, you always bring up a great point. I'm really tired of the media kind of showing dads as dumb and stupid and idiotic. I just listened to a commercial for like an eyeglass place, and like this wife bought her husband sunglasses, and he's like, "Sunglasses, I can do da 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 da." And she's like, "Well, honey, we're going on a trip. You can do all that." "Well, that sounds great. That's wonderful." Like, you're an idiot,
right?
And, and I'm tired of that. But what I think is that, I mean, I'm thinking of my own head too. When I look at my range of emotions and I look of what kind of experiences I go through and how I process them, my head is totally led by joy. I mean, everything's got an optimistic touch of life to it, right? No, if you
funny story
for me.
Sidebar.
Even when I'm go ahead.
Sorry, we're watching this movie, right? And I went to see it with my extremely close and probably best friend Melissa, and she's sitting right next to me, and like, I don't know, half hour into the movie where Joy is like dragging alongside it, she's like, "Come on, let's go." She's like, "This is totally you and me right now."
Right.
Right.
Well,
She's like, "I'm always dragging you along.
I can't even walk. I'll just point the way.
Can you just
drag me
Can
there.
you just grab my foot, take me where we need to go?
I said to Laura, I'm pretty sure that's based on Melissa and Brian.
Right. Exactly.
Did you really? Because that would be
Yes.
the best. That's amazing.
I don't think it was during the movie because Laura was. She was quite the picture of anger, sitting next to a group of 14-year-olds during the movie, and who were like spilling popcorn everywhere and then treading on the popcorn, and she just couldn't hear.
Were they
anything.
texting?
But
I would have punched them if they were texting.
No, I was texting.
so the side note to this too, before we get back on track, is Josh, you actually went to like a legitimate showing of this movie. Like, not a Wednesday.
No, it was 6:30 on a Friday. The movie, the theater was packed. I sat in all the way in the back, like the very last row, in like the top left where it's only 4 chairs there.
You went to see a movie during a crowded time.
I hated it so much.
But see,
I was so fed up with the crap and just so many people in the
so
theater.
coming back to that, right? So even using that as an experience, joy drives most of my life. And even when I'm going through anger, or even when I'm going through disgust, or I'm going through fear, there's still a little bit of a connection of joy. There's still something there that's driving it. So when you're saying that all the emotions look like fear or look like sadness, I don't know, for me in my head that kind of makes sense, because even when I'm going through anger or disgust, I still feel some form of joy, in the sense that maybe they're now spun out of that a little bit, so that's why they look like them, or that's my dominating trait. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why they did that.
Why they did what?
Why did they shape the parents' emotions to look like? Because even their fear and their anger and disgust looked like their other emotion.
Right. Well, they did it because they're trying to say that this is your core. In my opinion, this is the core of a mom. This is the core of a dad, and I just don't. I had a big problem with it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I did like how at the end we got to see all the cat emotions, which
Yes. Yes.
Just catting about, the one walking across the control panel.
It was so great. That was I was very happy about the emotions at the end, like the little outtakes.
The only other thing that I thought was peculiar from this, and I'm reading way too far into this, was if you ever played like Mass Effect or a couple of these games where you get a set choice of dialogue to pick from, and it's usually governed by what emotion you do, what it convey to somebody. I kind of felt that's how this movie portrayed Riley, the main character, was that her speech and what came out of her mouth were dictated by what the emotions wanted to say. Like, it didn't go through a Riley filter. Almost like, where's the free will when you're this little? Are you just going straight from the emotions? There's no filter. That part I felt was a little odd.
When you were 11, did you have a filter? You just acted on pure emotion for the most part.
Right, and I think that is kind of the best point you can make, is that if you're connecting everything we're complaining about to life, when you're a child, you say what's on your mind, and you're governed by however you feel at that moment, right? And as you grow older, and I say, once life beats you down, basically people become less and less genuine, in my opinion. So you're expected to behave a certain way, to act a certain way, dress a certain way, be a certain type of way. And I do think that the more you conform, the more you sort of ignore that genuine emotion, and it all goes through some filter, right? Like fear or sadness or anger or whatever. And I think that your true emotions don't really show.
But I mean, I've come across people that are legitimately always anxious, who are governed by fear and anxiety, that everything has that. So I've met some people that, when we're talking about those parents who said, this is your type and all your emotions kind of look like this. I mean, I have people that won't do anything because anxiety just takes over all in general. I mean,
sure.
And I kind of felt that, in those cases that would make sense. But I see what you're talking about. I don't think a mom or a dad should just be based off of one core emotion. It doesn't work out. But what I did like is that how they really ended, because they didn't show much of anyone else's actual inside processes. They just wanted to stay mainly with Riley's, is that her emotions did become mixed. Things were becoming not always good, not always bad. There was a little bit of everything in between there, like the balls, because they showed their memories as a ball, and then it had the color of the main emotion, but now it was mixed.
Yeah, like a glass ball.
Right, and I thought that was really great. The fact that we were going into blends, because that is something that we studied later in that class too, is that most of your real life emotions are a combination of something else. So I was proud to see that I thought they handled the emotion side of things very well. I thought they also took some really abstract things from just your brain and how you think and put it in a nice comedic way. Like, a train of thought was a train that had ideas.
The thought train, right.
And they had a box of facts and ideas, and at one point they spilled over, and they're like, oh no! They're like, oh, this happens all the time, don't worry. And I'm just like, yeah, that's so true. Oh my gosh, that's so true.
They had at the end, when you get, spoiler, when you hit puberty and you get this incredibly complex switchboard of emotions, and they're like, oh, look at all these buttons. What's puberty? Shouldn't be a problem. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be fun, right? And
I know all the swear words now.
Right. We won't get to see them. And it's funny, Christian and Zoe keep running around going, can we say that one swear word we know? And it's obviously a line from earlier in the movie. And I think it's hilarious. But I was wondering, and this relates to something else, whether we're going to get into it or not, I'm not sure. Did anybody notice, was John Ratzenberger a voice in this movie anywhere?
Oh, that's a very good question. I didn't.
Because the guy who does, yes, I think he was. Hold on, I had IMDb up earlier and I closed.
Okay, because I didn't notice it.
John, was he like the hockey coach or something?
Hold on,
John Ratzenberger. He's been in every
Pixar movie since the dawn of creation.
Since the dawn of time.
He was Rex, right, in Toy Story?
No, he was Ham in Toy Story.
Ham.
He was Mac in Cars.
Yeah, yes. Hold on. I just had IMDb up. Yeah, he was Fritz. He was Fritz.
Who was Fritz?
That's a great question.
All right, so he was in it.
He was.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So and that's I only bring it up because he's one of the.
Oh, he was the clown.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, John Ratzenberger continues, and that's great. I mean, it leads me to the Pixar theory, and I don't know if we want to get into that, but that's what.
Hold on. I think I'm wrong on that. Now that I'm looking it up,
no, I just
says
looked it up.
It's Fritz the clown.
Yeah,
Fritz is the clown.
Yes.
Okay.
I just looked at it.
Where's the birthday girl?
Oh God, that was so good. So let's talk about this. This has been a really cool thing. The internet has had this amazingly awesome, super complex, make your head hurt thing called the Pixar theory. And it's the point that all of these Pixar movies are actually connected, that there's an overarching theme, there's a bigger story being told. Now, what's funny about this too is that when they first made WALL-E, when it was like coming out, the trailers the first time were all about a meeting that they had at lunch between two Pixar creators about what they wanted to do with this new ability to do stories with CGI. And they talked about Toy Story, and they talked about Finding Nemo, and the other thing that they talked about at that time but came to fruition later was WALL-E. And it seemed like they had thought about the world that they're building, but I don't think to the extent that it is at now. So, Josh, can you kind of guide us through a little bit of the order of some of these movies, and what's the chronological order?
So I don't have the order. I think Brian does, but I do want to say that this is all sort of created or at least documented by a guy named John Negroni. I do not know his history or trade. I know that he wrote a book called The Pixar Theory, and I do know that I've read articles written by him regarding this. Brian, do you have the chronological order?
I do indeed have the chronological order.
Can you read it in a way that isn't like super fast?
That isn't super fast, or
Yeah, don't do motor mouth
because it's really convoluted. So I'll try to make it short.
How about just name the movie?
Yeah, do the movies in the order in which the Pixar universe exists.
All right. Well, in the order of the Pixar universe, it starts with Brave, then goes into Incredibles, Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Inside Out will be somewhere in there, then Finding Nemo, Ratatouille, Toy Story 3, Up, Cars, Cars 2, WALL-E, Bugs Life, Monsters University, Monsters Inc.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? What they're saying is all of these movies are part of a universe. They're all interconnected, and they're telling a story. And the story is that of the extinction of the human race.
Pretty much.
Okay, no, that's the story. Is the humans are extinct. They're replaced by robots and these animal sort of hybrids that are monsters, right? So, like Sully from Monsters Inc. is a combination of a cat and a bear and something with tusks. I don't know what that is, but so these are the new inhabitants of Earth, and part of probably the coolest thing that I read about the Pixar theory in Inside Out is she had an imaginary friend named Bing Bong, right?
Right,
Who was voiced by Richard Kind, which I thought was hilarious. And the thing is, they sort of explain her brain can't process a monster, but basically her brain created this imaginary friend, Bing Bong, who's made out of cotton candy, is pink, and is part elephant. He's got the snout of an elephant, right? And he's got a cat tail, right?
Part
and
dolphin.
Part dolphin.
Right.
So he's essentially Bing Bong was the residual. I got the wrong residual image in her brain of the monster that would come to her room at night and entertain her for laughs. Mind blown, right?
Yeah.
So
I didn't even read that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
you have Monsters Inc. converted from fear to laughter because joy is a more powerful emotion,
Right.
right? So, and again, sort of tying in the story of how joy governs children more than fear or anything else. Get a child to laugh, it's more powerful, so on and so forth. But the crazy thing, and why I think Monsters Inc. are the last two in the chain, is because the doors that open into the closets of children are not doors, they're time machines. They're time machines. So the monsters, every time they open a door, are going back in time.
Hold on to your hats, y'all. It's gonna get weirder, I swear.
The authority, right, that governs Monsters Inc., the paper lady Roz with the Wazowski, you forgot your paperwork. Her, right, she runs basically a agency of time cops.
She runs Torchwood.
Torchwood,
She
basically.
Torchwood, yes.
Who are making sure that we don't bring anything from this time into our time. Oh, so crazy. Like, Read. You need to read the Pixar.
So let's take a step back because
I can't.
I know you go into the. We can go down the rabbit hole.
This can actually wrap into that because what I think is really cool about this theory too is that the whole thing is that the witch in Brave.
Thank you. Yeah.
Who it's talking about like spirituality, and she's the only one with these magic powers and controls these will of the wisps thing. The theory states that is actually an old grown-up Boo from Monsters Inc.
It's Boo. Yeah, so if you really look at this timeline, it's a loop.
Who went into one of the doors, went back into the 14th, 15th century, but all of her like knowledge is equated to magic at this point, and that's how she can give spirits to animals and stuff like that.
There's actually a drawing in the witch's hut of Sully.
Yeah.
And when she always poofs and leaves sometimes, she's by a door. So at the end of this, when you go to Monsters Inc., it wraps back into it's another loop. It goes back into Brave because it starts Boo. Boo is the whole thing. What the story and what Josh is getting to, and I want to step back, is really the fact that everything is kind of pulling back towards the extinction of people. So I mean, once we start looking at Brave, when we look at that one, sorry, my brain just went off for a second. When we look at Brave, there's people being turned into animals. And so I want to start off with this. If you haven't seen all the Pixar movies, first off, what's wrong with you? So go watch the Pixar movies. Inside Out, I'll give you a pass, but come on. The rest of them, you should be caught up.
You don't need to see Cars 2.
No, you do not. I think the world will be fine without that, but it needs to be connected. But, that people are getting turned into animals, that already we're starting with, wouldn't it be nice if these things weren't here? And it starts with her brothers and her mom getting turned into bears, Then you look at The Incredibles. So when you go over to The Incredibles, you're starting to look at people starting to have superpowers and people being born, and that's a little bit of that magic that we were kind of talking about with Brave. Forming in together, and then what happens is that all this energy that gets put out from these superheroes, it starts to basically be absorbed by toys, hence making Toy Story a reality. So now toys are alive. So toys start to discover that they are actually alive and that they're isolated from human beings, and it doesn't help that Sid is probably the most sadistic Pixar character that we've ever come across.
You had Sid, and you had the girl abandoned Jessie.
Right.
Like a lot of resentment.
You mean Woody's mom?
Yeah, we don't know that.
That's part of the theory.
It's another theory, yeah. But a lot of this resentment towards humanity in just these inanimate objects already building just because of how they mistreat toys.
Right. So and it's again. So Toy Story 2 is the epitome of that too, because even the prospector, he hates. He doesn't want Woody to be happy. He's not happy with Jessie doing it that way, and Jessie's resenting her owner, which then leads to Inside Out. Which, Josh, how does Inside Out fit into this part again? How is this leading to the extinction of humanity?
It's not. It's linking the. I think the biggest thing Inside Out did was link Monsters Inc. to.
Right. Okay. You're right.
Yeah, gotcha.
The
timeline again.
Into the child's subconscious and
correct.
because in her subconscious, her greatest fear wasn't some monster; it was a clown.
Right.
Right. So, and usually, when you hear, there was another line in that movie where her mom said, she's putting her to bed right when she's a little girl, and she's, did you feed the monster under the bed? Yep,
that's right.
And she was cool with that, right?
Right.
The monster's fine. No big deal with a monster, but a clown is ridiculous.
So that's freaking creepy.
No, I'm with you. I can't. No clowns. No clowns. But
so that's confirming the time travel. So Inside Out is confirming that monsters are, in a sense, time traveling, and now have converted to laughter.
There's some other appearances as well. There's there's like scenes from Carl and Ellie's life in Up,
right?
And there's something about. There was the clouds as well. I don't remember what had to do with the clouds, but there was something about clouds in there too.
Okay. So then after we establish that monsters are time-traveling things that now based off of laughter, thanks to Bing Bong, you go to Finding Nemo, and this is the fact that now even animals are becoming aware of how cruel and sadistic sometimes humans can be, and now they start to get more humanistic characteristics. now start to be more human. Flash to Ratatouille, which I think is like one of the epitome of, this is, animals being extremely human. The fact that Remy is now cooking, that Remy's cooking food for humans, and people are okay with it, and that the fact that Remy is controlling Linguini, he's actually in charge of this guy. He's not just in on the show. Toy Story 3 again. After that, this is now Andy growing up. We see Sid again. This is again just Lotso just confirming that humans are terrible, bad people. And then we get to Up. Now, first off, let me say, Up is one of my favorite Disney Pixar movies ever. It's made me cry the most. And this is a movie that has solidified that there will now be an animal uprising. This is the one that says, we've now given animals, squirrel, the ability to talk and think. And we're not very nice to them. So now the animals from Nemo, right, who saw, hey, humans are kind of dicks, and Ratatouille were like, hey, we can control them, to now, well, why don't we just do it? And then I think the new Pixar movie, there's a dinosaur movie coming out, or what's the next?
The Good Dinosaur or something like that?
Dinosaur, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that's going to fit in between this and Cars, because this is how there's a big gap in between Up and Cars. Because when you get to Cars,
wait a minute, but isn't it like what if the meteor missed Earth? Wouldn't it go before Brave?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to. Something needs to bridge the gap between Up and Cars in my mind, because we don't know how Cars took over the planet, unless they left. Is Up the last time humans were on Earth?
The way I'm reading that it's explained is that when animals rose up against humans to stop pollution, the machines saved the humans and they won the war.
I love that line.
However,
so
since
good.
machines helped humans win, it tipped the balance of theirs. So machines were like, "Hey, we're taking over now," and machines of B&L kind of started to rule the world, I guess.
So they were shipping people off into space.
Pretty much.
Okay. So Cars is after machines and animals have kicked humans off and sent us into space.
Yeah.
Thanks to B&L.
Essentially, yeah, because B&L was doing all sorts of pollution and stuff to the environment, which is why the animals uprose to begin with.
Right. That's so funny. And then there's Cars 2, but let's face it, that's just the same thing.
Well, I think the important thing about Cars 2 is that they go to cities that are already established. They go to Japan, they go to Europe, and I think that's kind of, hey, this is still Earth, it's just no humans. Whereas in Cars 1, you didn't have that. It was all taking place in Radiator Springs.
And you know what, too? That's also... Cars 2 shows that cars aren't doing a better job. Machines aren't doing a better job. They're not able to sustain life, which takes us to WALL-E. And WALL-E is the Jesus of the world. Seriously, just trying to save as much of the world as he can. And then he's trying to save the human race. Because the fun part is at the credits of WALL-E, there's a shoe that has a plant in it, and it brings life back to the world, and that brings us to A Bug's Life. And then Bug's Life, I mean, that is, again, when we're talking with like Nemo, this is animals being the most humanistic characters I've ever seen. So this way you can kind of really see exactly what's going on, and that now animals are in charge of the world.
Is A Bug's Life the one with the invasion of like the what were they, like crickets or something? No, A Bug's Life was the circus animals.
Yeah, no. They were circus bugs. You had Dennis
circus
Leary
bugs,
as the
yeah.
ladybug.
Dennis Leary.
Yeah.
Right.
You were thinking of
Okay.
ants.
Yeah, don't confuse ants.
Ants is awful.
I'm just trying to like get all the bug movies straight.
So Bug's Life is showing the domestication of this species not being humans. And then another gap between Bug's Life to Monsters U, where now the life form dominant on Earth has gone from a bug to monsters. But in Monsters U, unless, and correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, because these doors are wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey machines, are humans and monsters coexisting on the planet at the same time? Because I think the Bug's Life has a little bit of humans that came back from Wall-E.
No. Bugs Life doesn't have any humans in it. The explanation is that all the animals that were left on Earth have deformed and become irradiated due to B&L's pollution and the radiation that they caused all over Earth. So they are now different species.
But I thought that one kid had allegedly picked wings off of a homeless bug. That basically there were too many, right? That there were too little people that came off that spaceship from Wall-E to even make an impact on bugs.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
And then we go to I guess Monsters U is hundreds of years.
Yeah, no, they're
Yeah, so and that at that point, at the point of Monsters Inc., human beings are batteries in the past. So
okay, so it's go ahead. I'm sorry.
The only purpose for Monsters discovers that we can go into the past,
right,
and use the existing humans as batteries for now.
But there's not enough humans actually.
There are no humans.
Oh, okay, hold on. So basically, animals have started to change due to radiation caused by B&L, which have wiped out humans,
right,
and have now changed them into and these other animals, the bugs that were there. So these bug human radiation morphosis have turned into monsters, and then finally ending with Monsters U. So holy crap. So follow this statement is that we humans are so bad for everybody that we start causing to have superpowers, which then let toys have powers, which then give animals thought, which then have a rebellion happen and humans are exiled off the planet, cars take over, ruin the environment, a robot tries to save it, bugs become the dominant life, and then mutate into monsters.
pretty much.
And all
Yeah,
comes
crazy.
back to Boo.
Yeah, pretty much. Boo screwed it up for everybody.
What are we? That is crazy. I love it. So, listen, the Pixar theory, it's absolutely phenomenal.
It's fascinating.
It's so fascinating.
I mean, you watch these movies and you pick out these things that are in there, and you go, "Oh my God, we're all gonna die."
Yep. So I invite you to go to pixartheory.com, and we'll put in a link into the show notes for this, as well as how Inside Out just expertly fits into the Pixar theory without even trying.
Without even trying.
So that way you can get a perspective on that. I hope that we made a very complex idea a little accessible, but start watching.
No, I think we made it worse.
I think we made it worse. Listen,
Yeah.
start watching these movies, and you'll start noticing that these are starting to be connected. And if you watch it in this order, almost like a machete order, you'll notice that this is telling a very different story.
Oh, I have to go back and watch all these movies in that order.
Yeah.
So now the question is, though, do you think Pixar intended this to be the conversation, or are we just grasping at straws?
No, I mean, it has to be on purpose. But where's Planes?
Planes is Disney. It's not Pixar. Planes is just
Oh.
Disney.
Which explains why it was awful.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
That and Dane Cook.
I didn't
Dane
even
Cook
think
is in
Cook was in it.
Planes?
He's Dusty Crophopper.
Oh, Jesus.
No idea.
The reason I'll never see that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's Planes Fire and Rescue. I've watched both.
Ooh. No way.
Isn't that like DuckTales? Oh.
No, you mean
DuckTales was
Tailspin.
amazing.
I know,
DuckTales was
just-
amazing, and
I
so
just-
was Tailspin.
I just wanted to not be. I did not want to end that conversation with planes. I thought I would end it with anything other than that.
Wow.
So watch these the Pixar movies in this order. Pixartheory.com. We'll put the link into the show notes. So let's move on to our next topic. I'm so sorry. We had such a grand idea for that conversation. We're like, yeah, I don't know where we're going anymore. So I apologize. If you're still with us, kudos to you. You let us know that you made it this far. In my hunt across the internet to find all things nerd, I came across this picture, which made my eyeballs bleed, my head hurt, and
From joy.
and my heart weep. All in mixed emotions, just like we were talking about, all mixed with ranges. It is a picture of, and I'll put this in the show notes, of all the comic book movies that are coming out from now
it's
to...
not all.
Well, most of them, I'm sorry. Most of the
Yeah.
big ones.
It's a good amount for just the next 4 years.
Yeah, from now to 2019.
But it's 25, right? 25 movies.
Yeah.
But I think my big problem is Marvel has 19, DC has 20, and then what's the other company? Is it Universal? Who's
20th Century Fox owns Fantastic Four, and Fox owns Deadpool and X-Men, so...
Okay, so you have them two, and they got movies coming out. So we're missing quite a few movies in here.
Yeah, and then Brian, when I showed him this, after elation of, yay, there's so many comic book movies coming out, then went to, there's so many comic book movies coming out. So, Brian, can you speak a little bit about your fear of this picture and why it's not maybe the most joyful thing?
I mean, I'm extremely happy. I really am, especially for all the Marvel stuff. There's some stuff on this list, like Fantastic Four, that I'm a little leery about. But, I mean, for the most part, I'm extremely excited for 90% of this stuff. My gut reaction after going, oh my god, I'm going to spend so much money at the movies, was I feel like it's getting to the point where it's getting too saturated and it's not special anymore. Like, we have, in like just 2016, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies, 8 superhero movies coming out just in 1 year. And it's like, over the next 4 years, you're going to have 8 and more superhero movies. And I mean, to me, the nice thing about everything leading up to this point was that everything seemed like an event. Everything was special. Everything was, it was still like a kind of niche. And I feel like it's just, people are going to stop caring and it's just going to become another genre.
Okay, all right.
That's my fear.
So you read comic books, and you started reading comic books at a young age, right?
7.
7.
7
okay.
years old.
At what point in your life would you say you were at sort of the height of your comic book infatuation while also still being sort of, doe-eyed and innocent?
I'm still doe-eyed and innocent. What are you implying?
Yeah, okay. So give me an age. Give me an age.
I guess, I mean, my 14, 15, I guess?
14, 15, good. At that point, how many different books were you reading?
Well, Spider-Man alone had 7 titles.
Ballpark it. Just ballpark it.
I mean, a month, I was probably picking it anywhere between 10 to 12 titles a month.
10 to 12 titles a month. Different book every month, right?
Yeah. Well,
always looking forward to the next one. And not so much, at that point, you didn't feel saturated, right?
No, I did not.
We don't really have 12 different franchises here. And it's less than one a month. So, still pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm still really excited. I'm going to go see them all. I'm just worried that the big box office boom is going to...
I think it comes to dividing your attention to, we built up, I can't wait for the Avengers. And anything that comes out in between, we're like, all about the Avengers, all about the Avengers. And now you're looking at this picture and you're like, I don't know what to look forward to, because I as soon as I get excited about one movie, there's 5 other movies that are coming out immediately after.
All right, let me draw. I'm going to draw a parallel. So we have in sort of the 2000s, we had a few big franchises. We had Mission Impossible, we had The Matrix, we had Star Wars, we had Fast and Furious, and then obviously X-Men. So there's 5 of them right there. Before it's Spider-Man 2, right? You had those, the Tobey Maguire crap.
Right, but different genres.
Yeah, but it was still that you got yourself geared up for these every year or every 2 years or whatever. So it's that I don't feel any less excited by looking at these 25. I think that I don't understand the Flash and I don't know how like all this stuff is going to work together, but I'm interested to see it.
It won't, because DC's will be helming it.
Oh, gosh. Well, you didn't tell me we were doing the CJ takes shit on DC.
Da-da-da-da.
I think it's to be expected. The only thing, the only way I could be more excited about movie releases is if somebody said there were going to be 3 Harry Potter prequels. That would be the only way.
Oh God.
I could be any more excited.
They are making a Harry Potter play that will be premiering on the West
Is Daniel
End.
Radcliffe going to do unspeakable things to a horse on stage?
No, he will not be doing any of that. So here's another little bit that came out of the movie world too.
What just happened to this conversation?
Do you not know? Do you not know about Equus? Have you never heard of that play?
Don't. Let him Google it. Let him find out.
Google it and be on your way.
And then Google Lemon Party when you're done.
No, don't.
No one Google that.
Please,
no one Google that.
Google that. And this isn't one of those things like, yeah, don't Google that. Like, seriously, you're gonna thank us if you don't.
Google it.
Okay. We're gonna get angry letters now, Brian.
No.
Angry letters.
No, no
Or
one, no
blue
one's gonna
waffle.
believe me.
Also, don't Google blue waffle.
No, God.
Stop adding to it. You're making. Don't Google puppies. For the love of God, please don't put puppies into your Google search browser.
You've made it worse. You made it worse.
You have. So another thing came out. We have officially recast Spider-Man as Tom Holland, who is
He was the
19-year-old English kid.
Yeah, he was the oldest kid in The Impossible, that movie about the flood where Ewan McGregor had to find his family without his lightsaber.
So the movie that nobody saw. This is a relatively unknown actor. I don't know. It comes back to my fear and my hatred of outsourcing our superheroes, but at the same time getting amazing actors. Where I'm like, I don't know how to deal with this. But I'm excited. I think this is okay. I think he looks Peter Parker-esque. I'm okay with it.
What's
He's talking about like the fact that Hugh Jackman's
Superman.
Australian and Henry Cavill is British.
Chris Hemsworth,
Yeah.
Henry Cavill,
Well, yeah, right.
Andrew Garfield.
Right.
Yeah.
I want you to start thinking of superheroes you really love. Thank
mean-
God we got an American Captain America because we were this close. We lost Superman. How do you... Truth, justice, and the American way. That's what he stands for. And he's from Jersey. And I don't mean New Jersey. I mean Jersey.
Yeah, I hear you. Heimdall's British.
Right. Stop
These are all
outsourcing
great-
superheroes.
they're all great actors,
That's the
though. They're
thing, great
phenomenal.
I'm sure there's amazing actors in America that can play these parts. America deserves America's Superman.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway. But listen, I'm excited for this. Does anybody have any negative thoughts about recasting Spider-Man again?
No.
Rebooting Spider-Man again?
They're not
We've
rebooting
changed.
it.
We've
Why?
It's we probably
here's-
are.
here's-
We probably are rebooting it.
Well, but
Mike-
they've already gone on record and saying we're not doing another origin story. We're just going to
Oh,
jump
right.
into it.
So the question is, how old will he be when this starts filming and this starts getting out to the masses? Because if we're going
They're
to
filming right now.
if we're going to put Civil War, so they're filming right now, right?
Well, they're filming Civil War right now, and Spider-Man is supposed to show up in Civil War, which also, sidetrack,
Can't be a 19-year-old
I have a
kid.
feeling- I'm going to say this right now, prediction, the after-credit scene in Ant-Man will involve Spider-Man. Prediction.
Okay.
There you go.
Fine. Here's my problem.
We'll know in
can't-
a month.
You can't
Yeah.
have a 19-year-old Peter Parker in Civil
Why?
War because
Why?
he's not mature enough to do what he does in Civil War.
You're not mature enough to
I
do what
am not
you
mature
do.
enough in Civil War.
It's funny you bring this up because I have that article up there about some of the big moments in Civil War and how likely it is we'll see them in the movie. And I address this, that Spider-Man unmasking himself after, 10, 15 years of being active as Spider-Man is a huge deal and not having that secret identity anymore. But you're also forgetting the fact that in this movie universe that we have set up, there are no secret identities. Everybody knows who Tony Stark is Iron Man. Everybody knows who Steve Rogers is. No one gives a crap who Thor is. He never did the Donald Blake secret identity. They don't have secret identities. So
in the Sony universe, Parker is a secret identity. People
Right.
don't know who he is.
Right, but you have to remember that this war is primarily between Captain America and Iron Man, and there are severe differences on this topic. And the topic was not about revealing your secret identity. The topic is about superhuman registration and the fact that they need to work for the government.
Right. So if it's all about registration and there's only one superhero that actually has a hidden identity and he chooses to unveil it, that's pretty monumental.
If they decide to do it that way.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If they decide to do it that way, a
You also have to
19-year-old
put
doesn't
in-
know how to make that decision.
Well, you also have to put in the perspective how many
What?
other... Yeah, well,
What do you mean? A
hasn't
19-year-old
been
doesn't know how to make that decision.
First of all, we don't know how old Peter Parker is going to be in this movie. He's 19, but CJ, you're 26. You look
He's-
like you're 18.
Right,
So
and that's what I'm saying. He's a young-looking kid. He doesn't look like he's older. So, like, I don't know. I'm
You
not
should
going to
know
buy
better than all of us the marvels of modern movie magic in making people appear
Listen.
older and younger than they seem.
There's suspension of disbelief, and then there's what the hell are you going to have to do to make this kid seem like he's mature enough to make this decision?
Listen, as
because
much
the
as I
Sony
love-
hold on, because the Sony guidelines that leaked out too, because this goes into another topic. The Sony guidelines for what a superhero has to be don't lend himself into this kind of character to unveil an identity like that.
I don't think that scene's even going to happen. As much as I love that scene, and as much as it's a huge scene in that comic book storyline, I don't think they're going to do it.
All right. Well, we shall see on that one.
Yes.
So, look, there's a couple things I don't get. First, why couldn't Taylor Kitsch be Gambit?
I don't know. I thought it was great.
Yeah,
why is
I
it
thought
Channing
was great,
Tatum?
too. Well, because Wolverine Origins was such an awful travesty, I guess they figured we should recast everybody.
Okay, but then they're making a Wolverine 3.
Yeah, because, Hugh Jackman's still amazing in the role.
Stop applying logic to Sony. They're idiots.
That's Fox. Come on, dude.
Oh, my bad.
I thought Hugh Jackman was done being Wolverine.
The Wolverine 3 will be his last time as Wolverine, he
Thank
says.
God.
No.
Yeah, I'm done with him.
He's so good as Wolverine.
No, he's already said that he's done too, and he is great at it. But he says it's time to hang up the claws. So it's time to hang them up.
Hang up the claws.
Now, don't say good. Just say okay. And let's move
good.
on. You hate Hugh Jackman? Hugh Jackman's
I'm not-
Hugh Jackman's
I'm not a fan.
Wolverine. How dare you?
I'm not a fan.
Anyway.
Sigh.
All right. So we also got a tweet. Josh, can you help us a little bit with the setup for this?
Yeah, my buddy Nick tweeted at me, why not Miles Morales for Spider-Man, right? So why can't the movie universe accept Miles Morales as Spider-Man?
So this is a two-part question because there's a lot of things that are factoring into this. Or two-answer question, I should say. I'm not speaking words anymore. Sony leaked some requirements that they have for superheroes.
Does he have to be white?
I'm going to read this off. So here are the traits for Peter Parker, and this is according to the WikiLeaks Sony email hacks. Peter Parker's character traits. The description of Peter Parker or his Spider-Man alter ego must confirm the following character traits. His full name is Peter Benjamin Parker. He's Caucasian and heterosexual. His parents are absent from his life during his childhood. From this time, his parents are absent. He's raised by Aunt May and Uncle Ben. So far, that's that part is the only one that's not egregious. He gains his powers while attending middle school or college. He gains his powers by being bitten by a spider. He designs his first costume. They do all of this. He attends high school in Queens. It also goes to said that he may not torture. He may not kill unless in self-defense of others. He does not use foul language beyond PG-13, does not smoke tobacco, does not sell or distribute illegal drugs, does not abuse alcohol, does not have sex before the age of 16, and does not have sex with anyone below the age of 16, and not a homosexual unless Marvel has portrayed the alter ego as homosexual.
I don't understand why they have all these rules.
Because Sony is So here's the other part. Now, hold on. Before we dive into that, there's a saving grace, and that's Stan Lee. So, Brian, you have the quote from Stan Lee that kind of addressed this other issue as well.
Yeah, and I don't have it in front of me. But listen, it's about staying true to the character. I don't think that list that you just rattled off that Sony said Peter Parker has to be these things is egregious at all. Stanley went on record saying that, listen...
You're saying Peter Parker is those things, but Spider-Man could be anything.
Right. Then that's the point. And Stanley said in an interview, listen, I am completely okay with making different racial superheroes and having people, a black superhero and a Hispanic superhero and a gay superhero. That's fine. He's like... When we do these adaptations of the movies, all I ask is that you stay true to the character the way it was initially created. And when we created Spider-Man and when we created Peter Parker, we created him as these things. I don't think there's anything wrong in asking that you stay true to those things, just like I wouldn't ask you to make Black Panther white, which is pretty much what Stanley's saying. I tend to agree. I mean, these characters were concepted 60 plus years ago, and there's a lot that goes into that. And if we stay true to that, it's going to work out well. In terms of Miles Morales, who is a fairly new character, he's only been around for 4-5 years maybe. I don't think he's completely fleshed out and established enough character to really think about bringing into a movie universe. That plus the fact that his entire storyline occurs in an alternate universe and they're just bringing him into the canon universe where he's going to be interacting with Peter Parker and stuff.
Okay.
He's in a completely separate time zone than any of the other characters in the Marvel Universe right now. So, not that I don't think it would be interesting to see it. I just don't think we're going to see it, not anytime soon, at least.
Yeah, so I'll go with Brian. I don't think the character is fully developed enough or interacted in the world that we're currently existing in to have it as a movie. The other part that it seems just from that email is I don't think Sony's ready for it yet. I don't, and that's the fun part, is I don't think the Sony executive who put out this email, I don't know if he even still works for Sony anymore. Is ready to let that happen, and that's terrible. But I think the main reason we're not going to see it is just for the reasons Brian fleshed out. So I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to take a few years to have that character ready to go on the big screen.
Yeah, and I mean the Sony, that email is missing the main point in general, which is what, and I want to reiterate this because Josh just said it. Spider-Man can be anybody. That's the whole point of Spider-Man, is that when you're watching the movie, reading the comic book, playing the video game, it's you in that costume. But Peter Parker is a set item list of things, which I think you need to hold true to.
And I think it will be cheap to not have a fully fleshed. If we just put Miles on the big screen right now,
without him having any sort of established backstory,
trying to figure it out as you go, I think just diminishes that character. I don't think it creates anything better, and it would be a cheap thing just to switch Peter Parker out for this character and just trying to place Miles in Peter Parker situations, because he's not going to react the same. It's not going to be true to that own character too. So. I think it's coming, and I think that when it does happen, I think it needs to be deserving of that character. So that's our answer, Nick. I know it's longer than 140 characters. That's why we didn't tweet it. So I appreciate you sticking around for that. All right. What do we got now?
You wanted to do streaming, you said.
Oh, right.
Jesus, CJ.
I had the mind of a goldfish.
CJ, I have Arkham Knight paused right now.
Can we? Never mind.
No, we're going to talk about that. Don't worry.
I want to talk about our streaming endeavors and Brian's lack of streaming.
Yes.
And that comes into this. Josh, I have accepted your challenge, and I sent you a picture today.
I saw that. Season 1 episode. Did you watch it?
I did. I am just in the middle of season 2, and I had to get off so we could do the recording.
Wait, you're in the middle of season 2?
Episode 2.
Okay. Holy crap.
Episode 2.
So let me ask you a question. Was I right about the dialogue being eloquently vulgar?
Yeah, I want to somehow figure out how to incorporate that into my life, because I swear like a sailor, and this way no one sounds.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's like the best prose you've ever heard, and it's so obscene.
It's like Shakespearean insults, but with terrible vulgar words.
Oh, so great.
What I like about this is that I'm not seeing a melodrama right away, which is my fear when it comes to like westerns, that bad people are bad because they're bad and good people are good because they're good. There's reasoning behind that, so I actually like so far what I'm seeing. And again, I'm only 2 episodes in, so who knows what I know.
Into Deadwood, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the thing about westerns, you're right. There's always
I'm the white hat cowboy.
There's
good.
always the white hat, always the black hat, and we're gonna have that.
Black hat always has a goatee.
Right, but I see a reason why, if that were to come down, that's based in logic.
The thing I liked about it is that these characters were actual historical figures, and their HBO portrayal isn't. It's not it's not way loose. So, but you have Seth Bullock and you have Al Swearingen, and they're set up as your primary hero and anti-hero or villain, whatever. But Seth Bullock rides into town like Wyatt Earp did in Tombstone,
right?
Which is just not wanting to be a lawman. Now, look, I think you're gonna love it. I really do.
I'm pretty excited, and I have for anyone who cares, I have finished Boy Meets World just the other night. That's why I started Deadwood. I don't think I appreciate George Feeney until they get to high school, the very end of high school. I thought the last 2 seasons of that show needed to stop anyway, so I'm glad they stopped what they did. And now, when I watch Girl Meets World, I watched Girl Meets World. There's so many throwbacks to original Boy Meets World, it makes me happy and smile.
Are you and Jenny were watching Boy Meets World together, right?
Yes, we were.
So is Jenny watching Deadwood?
No.
She's starting to
Not
watch
about the cowboy cursing.
No, and the naked people. She is watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh,
That
She
checks
found
out.
that on Hulu.
that sounds fantastic.
I was dragged into 6 episodes of that, and
oh no, you
I still don't understand.
Couldn't
the other thing I did watch, and then because I know Josh, you probably watched this too. I watched Ballers. I watched True Detective season 2, episode 1, and I watched the
Brink.
The Brink.
That was awful.
You know what? I did not like Ballers. Loved Brink.
I actually
and
really enjoyed The Brink.
Okay, on
I was very disappointed
Detective.
with Ballers.
yeah, me too.
Really?
I was.
I'm gonna give it a couple more episodes. The trailers hype it up to be like Entourage, but with football.
yeah,
It will be, and it will. I think it will be.
But
the thing,
maybe
this
it
is
will be,
slow
which is
build.
why I'll give it a couple more episodes. But other than that, like, I'm watching a whole bunch of sports people screw up their lives. I'm like, I can just watch ESPN if I want this.
The True Detective was so weird. Like
I'm still lost. I'm going to watch
and
it again.
I know it's a build up. I know that we need that build up, but man, it was just so weird. So weird. And Ballers, I thought was good, not great. But I thought The Rock did a great job. I like Rob Corddry in that role.
Who doesn't like Rob Corddry?
And I like that they had some actual NFL players appear, which is normally pretty hard to do.
Right.
Because of the licensing. But, you had Deshaun Jackson and you had Antonio Brown and you had Rashard Mendenhall all show up.
The good news is
cool.
that HBO gave me first off, damn you HBO, 3 shows on a Sunday. Are you trying to kill me?
Right.
You're just trying to kill me. I liked them. I think I know what show's going to get priority on my Sunday because I watch them on HBO Go in the order I want to watch them in. So I'm excited for it, and I think it's great. Brian, let's do that. Josh, what are you streaming right now? Are you going to start Chuck now that I've started?
Well, as soon as Brian starts Deadwood, I'll start Chuck.
God damn it, Brian.
Right. Well, yeah, he's holding you up. So
Sorry.
I am wrapping up Breaking Bad. I've made it through. Yeah, I'm in.
How did your 30 Rock endeavor go?
He abandoned it, obviously.
bailed midway through season 2, almost season 3, because it's just not funny. It's not a funny show. These are awful people. I'm not at all interested in watching them or anything about them. So I started Breaking Bad from episode 1, I guess a week ago. I'm going to finish it like tomorrow.
I love that show.
So, yeah, I mean, this is the 4th time I watched Breaking Bad start to finish. It's excellent. It's excellent every time.
Are you still catching things every single time you go through?
Yeah, I am, and I more and more I'm siding sort of. It's like, you bet on Tiger Woods or the field type of thing, and I'm more and more catching. The more I watch it, the less I like Walt from the very beginning.
Right.
But my hatred for Skylar never changes either.
No,
she's just terrible. But I like everybody else, and I feel more empathy towards Jesse every single time I watch the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Brian, you are stopping Josh from watching Chuck, and I think that you are trying to justify it with a good reason. So I'd like to hear your justification of stopping to watch television.
Gotham needs me. I am the hero it deserves. I'm playing Arkham Knight right now, and it has consumed my life. To the point where Melissa actually texted me yesterday. She's like, "Are you dead? Are you okay? I haven't."
Yeah, you've disappeared from all. Like, I haven't gotten a text. There's no group chat. There's nothing at all. No communication from Brian ever.
I'm surprised. Wait, hold on. What's Arkham Knight doing right now?
It's on pause right now.
It's on pause. Okay, you didn't even turn it off. You just paused it.
No, because
I don't want to. I don't want to delay from turning on my console
Listen,
to actually getting to be the dark.
You don't understand. Gotham is in peril. Okay, I'm the only one who can stop it.
So you're not playing online. You're playing campaign.
Yeah, no, I'm playing campaign. I'm only about 80. Okay, so it came out Tuesday, and unfortunately, I had to break up those days because of work. But I am already 80% of the way through.
We're recording on Sunday for reference for everybody here.
A total of 4 days, and I'm almost done with the game. And it's
You're almost done with the campaign of the game.
no. Overall, like I'm doing all the side quests and everything. Yeah, because there's 3 different endings, and I want the perfect ending because I am Batman.
Wait a minute. There's 3 different. So if you screw up somewhere along the way, you end up with not the ending you want.
There is, depending on how much of the side quests you have completed, you get a different ending.
So is it like the Mass Effect thing, or what they promised? I should say, not what they actually delivered.
It's more like if you do 100% of all the side quests and the collectibles and everything, you get the ending. But if you don't want to do all that, you get another ending that's good in its own right, but still.
Like,
that sounds terrible.
You get an A for effort. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, you get a gold star if you don't do all the other side quests. But
you what happens
if you get the 100%.
Do you know what happens when you defeat Ganon? You get the last piece, right? You get the last piece of the Triforce, right? You know what happens when you beat Bowser? You rescue the princess.
The princess is finally in a freaking castle.
I have a problem with the game where you complete it and you haven't completed it. I got a problem with that.
Listen, I mean, Scarecrow is the main baddie, but I've got all this other stuff I have to deal with. I gotta get Two-Face to stop robbing banks, and Riddler is trying to screw with me and Catwoman. It's a lot. Listen, it's a lot. The responsibility on my shoulders is great right now.
Well, do me a favor. Just watch one episode of Deadwood so I can please, for the love of God, have Josh on next week talking about Chuck.
I will try, but I can't guarantee anything.
No, it's 1 hour. You're taking 1 hour out of your life
listen,
today.
If I have a week, I'll definitely be done with the game by then. Gotham will be safe for the time.
I'm gonna in the middle of the night. I'm sneaking into your place, and I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna walk 3 steps and then go to save and then unplug it while it's saving.
Oh my God, I would kill you. But then I wouldn't because I'd get to play it all over again.
That is like the most evil thing I've ever heard somebody say. That's the most nerdy evil thing. Wow.
But yeah, so Arkham Knight has demanded so much of my time because I just got so engrossed in the story, so engrossed in the fact that this game is the most I've ever felt like Batman in a video game ever, that I said, I don't have a life for the next week. I'm Batman for the next 7 days. So
surprised we're not talking with a gravelly voice. And
I was really tempted to. I was really tempted to. But Kevin Conroy does the voice of Batman for these games, who is the most amazing voice of Batman ever. He's the only one who can do that like dark, raspy voice without it seeming comical. It's fantastic. So yeah, right. I'll stop talking about it because
in an order that would surprise you.
So I brought on a special guest for this week's question. I brought on Josh's hetero life mate, Patrick Triccolo.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Hello, Joshua.
What's up, brother?
There he is.
There he is.
Aww.
Hello, lady.
All right, Patrick, so I understood that you had a question that you wanted to pose, and your wording was very precise, so I wanted to make sure we had you on the show so we could actually hear what you had to say. Yeah, it's still very wibbly-wobbly. Hold on.
I thought you said you figured this out, dude.
I did. It worked. I did a test call last night. Go ahead, Patrick. Ask your question.
All right. So I think Brian is going to use nerd intelligence to destroy this conversation, and Josh is going to use logic. So we're going to see how this goes.
Okay.
Who is stronger, the Hulk or Thor?
Who's stronger, the Hulk or Thor? Brian, if you want to go first, I'll let you go first because I see the pain on your face.
I'm thinking.
You're thinking?
I'm thinking.
Okay, the Hulk is stronger.
I can barely hear it.
The Hulk is stronger. The Hulk is stronger. There's no, like, how... okay, so... the Hulk is stronger. There's really no...
Of course Trick had to bring up Thor because we get into this debate about Thor's hammer, like, every other week.
Because, look, he's stronger. The Hulk is stronger. It shouldn't have anything to do... Like, I get your thing with the stupid hammer and whatnot, but the Hulk can slam anybody around he wants to slam around.
I'm probably going to have to go with the Hulk just because...
Wait, you agree with me?
I do.
Thor is stronger.
Because
Thor is stronger.
Really? Are you freaking kidding me?
Nope, Thor is stronger. He can fly, and he can
That's
throw
actually my perspective, is that Thor can take a hell of a beating and still live around. I don't know if it's because he's Asgardian or because he's just super... But when it comes to strength, measured strength, I don't know. Thor is pretty freaking strong.
And then you also have to figure in that Thor has strength of character. And
I didn't ask who's durable. I asked who's stronger.
He didn't ask who's durable. He asked who's stronger.
No, listen, when it comes to pure brute strength, Thor's definitely got some strength to him. But even without the hammer, he's got some strength to him. But you also got to take into effect that the angrier Hulk gets, the stronger he gets. So throughout that entire fight, Hulk is just getting angrier and angrier and stronger and stronger. And it's been done so many freaking times before. And there's really never a clear winner. Hulk wins one match. Thor wins one match. I mean, everybody's gone toe-to-toe with the Hulk at one point. But at the end of the day, he's probably the strongest character in the Marvel Universe.
A series a while ago, and Ben Krasinski was the one that gave me the exact series, where the Hulk was cited as the stronger one, for what you just said there, because his anger and his strength are limitless. And now, current series state that for equal strength.
Yeah, I think that I disagree with whatever Brian says. So
just because
I know at first glance it appears that Hulk is the stronger one because of throwing things through buildings, and he's a stronger guy. But Thor can also lift the hammer, which is incredibly heavy, because nobody can lift it.
The hammer has nothing to do with weight. It has to do with worthiness.
I don't know, Vision lifted it.
Because he... Oh my God. I'm not having this debate with
Vision is super strong and lifted the hammer.
Vision is super strong.
And look, Captain America's incredibly strong and couldn't lift the hammer. Thor is stronger.
And
right,
we never saw the Hulk try to lift the hammer. We just saw Banner.
Yes,
no, we saw
in Avengers 1.
Yeah, he got the hammer
Avengers
tossed
1,
at him, and it took him
the hammer
couldn't catch it. Yeah,
and he couldn't lift it up.
Couldn't lift it up, which means Thor is stronger because he can lift the hammer.
It's not about strength. It's about worthiness and righteousness.
Hang on. Whoever picked up Excalibur, was he much stronger, or was he just the one?
No, he was worthy. That's the point of Excalibur, of Mjolnir, of all this stuff.
Right. Except Mjolnir doesn't measure worth because Vision has no worth, and he
whosoever
can lift
holds
it.
this hammer, if he be worthy,
Vision is incredibly strong.
If he be
and
worthy,
Thor is stronger.
Shall possess the power of Thor. If he be worthy, that is the inscription on the hammer. Has nothing to do with strength.
I thought it said something about if he had a big penis.
And well then we all know who would hold that hammer, and he's on the phone.
All right, another question. Hold on.
Does the Hulk have home court advantage?
Does the Hulk have home court advantage?
No, I think you probably have to apply some interdimensional anti-gravity bone density rules to Thor as well. I think, again, regardless of...
Josh is just going to disagree with me.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with the most convincing, nonsensical argument to argue with Brian. So Thor, way smaller. So I mean, there's the something about pound for pound there, right? Probably stronger, way smaller. And then he can lift that ridiculously heavy hammer. So there's that.
You're basing off the theory that the hammer is heavy, and it's not. It's about worthiness.
Then why are Thor and Vision the only people who can pick it up?
Your theory is going to be blown to shit when Captain America comes out and someone else picks up that hammer. Because it's rumored that it's going to happen.
I hope it's Thanos.
It's going to be Captain America.
Nah, unless he keeps well, maybe if he works out a bunch.
It has nothing to do with strength.
Oh my God, is he juicing? Captain America's using steroids, and he picks up the hammer.
All right.
Tony Stark's gonna pick it up, right?
Tony Stark's gonna pick it up, right?
I have no idea who's going to pick it up in the movie universe.
He had tip propulsion, so that's cheating.
He tried that in Avengers. It didn't work.
He's just gonna put on the Hulkbuster and pick up the hammer and throw it.
Why are you defending him? That makes no sense.
I need to stop the madness now. I want to thank Patrick for coming on to the show and doing our Let's Entice Brian into getting angry.
Bye, Trick.
Bye, Trick.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Thanks for calling in.
Little known fact: Trick lives like 30 seconds away from me. I'm gonna go up the street and yell at him.
I was surprised that Josh, you defended your theory the way that you did.
Well, Brian should have gone first. He wouldn't, so I gave an answer and then decided I was wrong. I
had to
and
think.
changed my answer.
All right. Well, listen, I do want to thank Patrick for taking the time out of his day to call in and ask his question. I want to encourage you, if you have a ridiculous question or you just want to see Brian get riled up, please let us know. Our phone number to call is 484-373-4119. Call in, leave a comment, leave a voicemail. We'll play it on the air, or go ahead and do a live call. We'll get a better way of doing that. I want to thank Brian. I want to thank Josh for taking their time out of a Sunday to record, and for listening. And remember, please go to our survey in our show notes and just let us know what you think about the show and give us any feedback. That we definitely appreciate everything that you fans are doing. And thank you for letting us do episode 12. I thought it was a lot of fun. Gentlemen? All right. I hope that we made a very complex idea a little accessible.
No, I think we made it worse.
I think we made it worse.
Why are you defending him? That makes no sense.